Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Mind of Evil. This is only the second time I've watched it. I watched it for the first time right when the Season 8 box set came out. It was my favorite story of the season, and since I just rewatched my least favorite story of the season with Claws of Axos and reevaluated it, thought I'd rewatch Mind of Evil and see if it lived up to my first impression of it. Plus, I plan on doing a big review for my patrons for Season 8. So I figured it'd be good to watch a couple stories from it, so I decided to go with a couple I'd only seen once, as I've seen all the others from it multiple times. And it holds up. I love Mind of Evil. It's a great story. It's still my favorite story of the season, although Terror of the Autons is close. But I like Mind of Evil. I enjoy the story. I think it's well-paced for 6 parts. You know, sometimes 6 or 7 parts can drag a little. Mind of Evil never seems to drag for me. It's a lot like Inferno in that it uses its time well. I watched all of it in a day. I watched 2 episodes, took a little break, watched 2 episodes, took a little break, played a little Mass Effect, watched the other 2 episodes. So over the course of the day, I watched all 6 episodes. I do enjoy the story. I like the location work, especially like the filming at the prison, like the castle that's supposed to be the prison. I like that. I like all of the location footage when they're walking around in the town and stuff. The sets look pretty good. The prison set looks really impressive. I know they went over budget for this story, and I know that's why Timothy never came back to direct anymore. Who after that he just did Silurians in this one, because they went very over budget. But those sets look really good, especially that prison set with its multiple levels and stairs. Looks really good. I like the different plans going on, what the Master's got going with the Keller machine. The Keller machine kind of growing out of his control. I enjoy that. What's going on with the prisoners is good. I like the actor playing that one prisoner with the mustache. The one that's kind of the Master's right-hand man for a while. The actor playing him does a good job with him. I like him. It's nice, of course, you know, again, Season 8's kind of the unit season. So it's nice to see Bennett and Yates. Benton. Oh, where I got Bennett from. Bennett and Yates and the Brigadier all getting a lot of screen time. We get a little bit of Corporal Bell in there, which I like. You know, the Brigadier even gets to save the Doctor's life at the beginning of part 6. I like that. And of course, the Doctor's like, you know, you could have gotten here sooner. Because that's just how the 3rd Doctor is. The Brigadier and the 3rd Doctor just have that kind of relationship, friendship together, the way they interact. Which I love the way the episode ends with, of course, the Master gets his TARDIS back. I don't see how. Watching that scene when they scuffle for like half a second, I don't think there's time for the Master to pick his pockets, but okay. But, you know, the Doctor just learned the Master's free and got his dematerialization circuit back, and he's like, and I'm stuck here, Brigadier, with you. And I love the fact that Brigadier just smiles at him. He just has that smile, and I love how that's the last shot of the episode. Perkins like, I'm stuck here with you, Brigadier. And the Brigadier just smiles at him. I love that. You just get how well. That's just the kind of friendship that the 3rd Doctor and the Brigadier have. It's so different than the 2nd Doctor and the Brigadier's type of friendship, and I like that. I enjoy that. The hardest part about this one is the colorization. It is one of the roughest recolors. Not knocking anybody. It's a miracle we have it in color at all. But it does look rougher than, say, if you're coming right off watching something from Season 10, Season 11, where original Masters survive, or even like I was watching Claws of Axos, to which 2 of the episodes have their Masters, so going from like part 4 of that to this, it's a big difference. The colors kind of jump all over the place sometime in the same scene. Skin tone is the worst. Skin tone, especially in faces, you really can tell when you watch it. And it's especially distracting when you're aware of it and you know you're kind of looking for it without meaning to look for it. But in faces, it's almost like in a lot of the time you can see just the thin layer of color with the black and white threatening to break through. It does. You can see it a lot with the Brigadier's hairline and in different spots on their face where this will be one tone, this will be kind of black and white, and it shifts as they're moving. A lot of time, especially on John Pertwee's face, it's like take a color picture of John Pertwee, a black and white picture of John Pertwee, and put them together, you know, go right in the middle of that, and that's what his face looks like, this weird ashen gray, like he's sick. You notice it in backgrounds sometimes, especially the sky. Watch that scene when the brigadier and unit are fighting the the prisoners and killing all the prisoners and taking the prison back over. Look at the sky. The sky looks really odd with all these little dots of colors, like just dots and dots of colors. It's really hard to explain. But it really becomes apparent in faces, flesh tones, faces, and how it shifts. Like Joe will be sitting here and it looks a little black and whitish gray, and then she leans forward and it's like overcolored. Now, all of that criticism aside, we're very lucky to have it in color at all. I mean, for a long time, this only existed in black and white. I think only one print of this did survive. And it was in rough shape. I've seen, like, when you see the scenes of it used in the making of, and I've seen it in other stuff, when it uses the black and white footage, it looks rough. Not just the fact it's in black and white, but the footage looks rough. Looks like even the copy wasn't in the best of shape. So the fact that it looks as good as it does is so many levels of miracle. The fact that they've managed to do a lot of restoration so it doesn't just look like rough, aged film. And the fact it's in color at all, since I know episodes 2 through 6 had to be recovered with the chromia dot recovery, since there's no color recordings to pair the black and white with, like some of the other stories. And then I know episode 1 had to be manually recovered by Stuart Humphreys. I am aware of that. So we're lucky to have it at all, but it is a little distracting when you're watching it, and it's just frustrating because it's such a good story. I love the story. I enjoyed the episode 1 cliffhanger when the machine attacks him and you just see the flames coming in and John's over there. That is a great cliffhanger, especially for the first episode. Really gets you engaged with the story. And I love how they tie that in with Inferno as he explains Joe why he saw the fire. You know, some time ago I saw a world, you know, destroyed by flame, which could be Inferno. Technically it could be, you know, some other story we're not aware of, but he could be alluding to Inferno there, where the parallel world was destroyed. And that's pretty cool. I do like that little bit of continuity. But the effect of the flames looked really good. And then they kind of use that cliffhanger again a couple episodes later, like when the Doctor is seeing the Cybermen and the Daleks floating by. And it's still pretty effective. Now, at the end of episode 4, when it starts to affect Joe and the Doctor, it cuts right when it starts to affect them, like it appears, and they're like, oh no. And it starts wah, wah, and then it cuts, because I guess they're like, okay, we've used that enough. The episode 5 cliffhanger doesn't work for me. When Joe tries to knock down the guard and the Doctor tries to reach up and he's just like, I warned you, Doctor, click. And then you just see the gun fire, which turns out to be the Brigadier's gun. And then like the gun fires and then it's like, bang. You know, the ending credits pop up. It's a little weird. It's off. Something's not quite right with it. I remember watching it and going, that doesn't work. But it's a little nitpick. The scene, of course, when Chin Li or Li Chin, the Chinese delicate assistant, when she turns into the dragon thing, looks a little weird. It is smart that they focused on the head on that in most shots because that looks a little weird. I didn't realize she's not in the story as much. She's only in like really the first 2 or 3 episodes, I think. And then we don't really see her again. The Chinese delegate assistant. I can't remember her name. I know in real life she's either the writer's wife or the director's wife, because Timothy was having a hard time casting her, and they're like, well, you know, she's Chinese, you know, so-and-so's wife is Chinese, and she was an actress, so that worked out really well. But I thought she was in more of the story than she was. Delgado is, of course, great. Delgado is always great. I absolutely love Delgado. I love him with the cigar, and I know that was Timothy's idea, but it's great seeing him on the cigar. I always enjoy when the Third Doctor and the Master talk together. They have such good rapport. I feel like several of the Doctor-Master combos click really well together. Missy and 12 click really well together, for example. But and even 13 and Sasha's Doctor and Master click really well together. But I think 3 and Roger are the best. You know, John and Roger. You can tell they're friends in real life because I just love the kind of type of relationship they have, the kind of frenemy thing they have going on. It just works so well anytime they're on screen together and have dialogue together. And there's a lot of that in this story, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, I really like Mind of Evil. It definitely lives up to my first impression. It's still my favorite story of the season. Like I said, it's a little unfortunate that the color can't look as good as, you know, we wish it could, but it's a miracle we have it in color at all, and I'm just happy I can watch it that way. Such a good story. So I want to know what you think of the Mind of Evil. Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out. My goal for 2023 is to reach 1,000 subscribers, so I certainly appreciate that if you enjoy my content. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. There is a link to that down in the description below as well. That does help me keep bills paid and keep these wonderful collection box sets paid for. I have to import them, you know. I'm in the States. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Dr. Finn Perkins, and Colin Coney. I appreciate their continued support, as I do the support in each and every one of my patrons. Thank you very much. There's several different tiers to choose from if you'd like to check that out. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.